Believe it or not, there was a time in American history when alcohol was outlawed. From 1920 to 1933, a period famously known as Prohibition, manufacturing, selling, and even transporting alcohol was strictly illegal. And breaking these laws wasn't taken lightly. First-time offenders faced a hefty fine of up to $1,000, equivalent to over $15,000 in today's money, and up to 6 months behind bars. For repeat offenders, the stakes were even higher, with fines soaring to $10,000 and prison sentences stretching up to 5 years. Welcome to Prohibition, a bold national experiment to outlaw alcohol. Despite its good intentions, this act to limit freedoms would have negative unintended consequences and ultimately prove to be a dismal failure. Prohibition didn't happen overnight. Its roots go back to the early 19th century, when temperance movements gained momentum. These groups believed alcohol was the cause of many societal problems, such as poverty, domestic violence, and crime. One of the most colorful and controversial figures of this movement was Carrie Nation. Standing nearly 6 feet tall and wielding a hatchet, Nation became famous for her hatchetations, dramatic raids on saloons where she smashed bottles, barrels, and even furniture. Her bold actions brought attention to the temperance. Organizations like the Women's Christian Temperance Union and the Anti-Saloon League worked tirelessly to push for laws to ban alcohol. Their efforts paid off in 1919, when the United States ratified the 18th Amendment. The amendment officially banned the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcohol, starting on January 17, 1920. In sync, Congress also passed the Volstead Act, which purpose was to enforce the 18th Amendment. It defined intoxicating liquors and set the rules for enforcement and penalties. Though America's had a year to prepare for Prohibition, the ambitious plan to outlaw alcohol quickly ran into trouble. Americans didn't stop drinking. Instead, they found ways to do it illegally. Speakeasies, secret, hidden bars, sprang up in cities and towns across the country. To access these establishments, you needed a password or a secret knock. Further, organized crime syndicates, like Al Capone's gang in Chicago, capitalized on the demand for alcohol, making fortunes through bootlegging and smuggling. The government did attempt to crack down on crime and illegal alcohol, but widespread corruption hindered progress. Bribes flowed to police officers, politicians, and even judges. And while arrests were made, illegal alcohol continued to pour into American homes and criminal organizations grew richer and more powerful. Another problem was the drastic rise in poisoning from dangerous homemade alcohol. Thousands suffered from blindness, organ failure, and even died from drinking illegal alcohol. This was because it was often unsafe and filled with harmful chemicals like methanol or lead. The government made things worse by adding poison to industrial alcohol in an effort to stop people from drinking it. During Prohibition, over 10,000 people died from poisoned alcohol. These unintended problems were steadily driving a rise in the public's dissatisfaction with Prohibition. When the Great Depression hit in 1929, Prohibition faced even more opposition. With the U.S. in economic turmoil, legalizing alcohol seemed like a good way to create much-needed jobs and generate tax revenue. As public opinion shifted, more and more politicians began aggressively pushing for its repeal. On December 5, 1933, the United States ratified the 21st Amendment, repealing Prohibition. The bold experiment was over. In the end, Prohibition was reversed due to the many unintended consequences it created. The rise of organized crime, rampant corruption, widespread public defiance, public health and safety concerns, and the economic pressures of the Great Depression. These factors fueled the rise of political groups and leaders like Franklin D. Roosevelt, who recognized the need to end the experiment and re-establish the right to consume alcohol. Today, the failure of prohibition serves as a valuable lesson. It sends a warning signal about unintended consequences of imposing restrictive laws, government control, and the importance of protecting individual freedoms.